Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Welcome back to part 2 of working on my $12 clip and grow juniper. In part 1 of this video, I pruned up the tree, taking quite a bit of the foliage off. And in part 2 of this video, I'm going to be repotting the tree. This juniper is a sabina juniper, and it's the variation or variety tamarix. A very fine foliage and excellent for bonsai. In part 1 of this video, I reduced the top of the tree. I took about 50% of the foliage off the juniper, which is a lot. You often hear the term that junipers, the strength comes from the foliage. So what does that mean? With every tree, there's a balance and ideal proportions between the foliage on the top of the tree and the root system below the soil surface. The tree tries to maintain that balance. If the roots get pruned off, the energy goes into growing the root system to try and get that balance back. If you prune too much of the foliage off, you've got a stronger root system. It'll try and grow more foliage to try and achieve that balance once again. And the tree tries to grow so there's equal growth on the top of the tree and equal growth below the soil surface. So to say a juniper, the strength comes from the foliage, what that basically means is that the ideal proportions of a juniper is more foliage on the top of the tree than the root system below. So the statement that says the strength is in the top of the tree on junipers, the strength is in the foliage, I don't think it really makes much sense. It's maybe just stating that you need less roots versus the foliage on top of the tree in general compared to maybe other trees. And other trees being maybe pines or maples or elms. But a tree will naturally find its own proportions. If you cut off a lot of the roots, keep a lot of foliage, well, the tree will try and grow the root system to match the top of the tree. You may get some foliage die off until that happens, that balance is achieved. And the same if you cut off too much foliage on the top, you've got a strong root system, well, you're going to get all this growth on the top, and it may be very rapid growth because you have such a strong root system and a weak top. So so I think on a juniper like this, you want to balance the top of the tree with the root system. And I think, saying that the strength is in the foliage of the tree just means you want to keep a lot of foliage on, and that can be supported by a smaller root system than you're normally accustomed to if you're working on other species of trees. If you're used to working on junipers, I think that statement really means nothing. If I didn't repot this tree today, if I just left it the way it is, I would get lots of growth on the top of the tree because the root system's strong. It's got all that energy stored in the roots and the trunk and the sap to push out that new spring growth, and it would come very rapidly. I'd get a lot of growth on the tree, very vigorous growth. But then when would I repot it? The next year, the top of the tree would be in balance with the root system. So if I prune the roots, I'd have to prune the top of the tree to kind of maintain that balance. So right now I've taken a lot of the foliage off the tree. So logically, I should be able to reduce the root system by about 50% also to maintain that proportion between the foliage and the root system of the tree, maintaining that balance of vigor. So let's put that theory to the test today. I'm going to repot the tree, and I'm going to be very careful with the roots. I don't want to, my goal isn't necessarily to reduce the root system, but I will try and sort it out to try and improve the look, the visual look of the root system. Now, I also have the opportunity to do anything with this tree. It's got that wind-blown kind of mountain-type look. I could plant this tree over a rock. I could have a pot that looks like a rock. There's a lot of possibilities for this planting. A lot of artistic decisions that could be made. A lot of that I won't know until I see the root system, what it looks like. If you don't have a root system that's suitable for putting over top of a rock, then, well, you can't do it at that point in time. You've got to work towards getting long, fine roots that you can arrange around a rock. So I'm going to take the tree out of the pot. We'll examine the root system. I'll bare root the tree, check out the roots, and then decide what approach I want to go with the tree. I could put it back in this same pot if I had to. The tree is in training. It's not a show tree at this point in time. It'll take many years before I think I get this tree looking really, really nice. So let's start the repotting process, examine the roots, and then decide what direction to go with the plant or the tree in an artistic direction. Before we get started, we had the KW, the Kitchener-Waterloo Bonsai Society meeting last night. It was great seeing everyone once again. Jay from the channel Blue Jay Bonsai brought me some presents, so I'll show you what they are. It's a mixed forest. It's larches and black spruce. So the black spruce are in the background. They don't lose their needles or they don't get fall colors. The larches in the foreground, they turn a bright yellow in autumn, so you get the... So the first present was 2 trees. And these are kind of special trees. Derek was on vacation in the United States, and he found the seeds of an Arizona cypress, and Blue Jay Bonsai planted the seeds, and here is a seedling, a Arizona cypress. So that's exciting. And then beside that, Philippe from Portugal sent some seeds of a cork bark oak. So here it is here, it's growing. And these were also germinated by Jay from Blue Jay Bonsai. So I have a cork bark oak and an Arizona cypress. So that's really exciting. There's a close-up of the 2 trees. Young seedlings, but I know I said I'm not getting any more trees this year, but you can't turn down a gift like this. Jay also got me a bonsai pot. I'll show you that. It's a really nice pot. So here it is. An unglazed clay rectangular pot. Yeah, really nice. I like that. I wonder if that would work with the juniper. Let me see. I don't know if I want to reduce the root system that much, but oh yeah. I think that would look pretty good in that pot. Yeah, that's about a nice sized pot for this juniper. Well, we'll keep that in mind. Maybe that's where this tree will be headed, to that new pot. The last gift is from Tom of the YouTube channel Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors, and it is blue, I guess you'd call it glass or sand, and he thought maybe it'll work as a water feature in a planting. So it'll be interesting to see. I'll try it out. If it doesn't work out, well, maybe it can be part of a science fiction landscape or something like that. Thanks so much, Jay and Tom. You guys really spoil me. All right, let's get back to the repotting of my juniper. All right, step number 1 will be to get the tree out of the pot. So here I go. I will push on the bottom here. Pull on the top. Well, there it comes. There we go. All right, I will remove the marker for the front of the tree, and I will remove the moss, and I'll save that because it's actually nice moss. It doesn't have any weeds in it or anything. I can reuse that somewhere else, maybe even on the same planting. And then I'll begin raking out the root system. So the roots are looking healthy. I can see there is some white tips on some of them. So the root system has started to grow. I can see another white root tip there, but not a lot. It's probably just the ones on the outside that are warmed up a bit. But we'll see. I think I'll be very careful with the root system. So this should have a lot of the original soil the tree was growing in, because I did an out of season repotting. I wanted to get it in a clay pot rather than a plastic pot that it came in. And you can see all this sand in here is the original soil the tree was growing in. So I've never bare rooted it before. I just sort of
I'd say it was more than a slip pot. It was, I definitely worked on the roots. But you can see the roots. There's not a lot of root growth in that original sandy soil. It's all on the outside where I put the bonsai soil. So trees definitely like growing in bonsai soil. It gives them lots of air and lots of moisture, lots of fertilizer. There's lots of cavities for the roots to grow in. Yeah, it's a good environment. Yeah, this is very, very sandy. So you can see it's just kind of falling away from the roots. So I don't see any roots in my soil here at all. I've been very careful. I haven't torn any roots or ripped any roots off. And so far I can see the root system is very one-sided. There's nothing growing in this direction, which is all right for this wind-blown style, because the pot would come over this side. This would be towards the edge of the pot, so it should work out all right. I think I'm pretty close to the point where I could wash the root system now. I've got a lot of that old soil out. Very interesting. Okay, I'll get out my bucket and I'll get the root system a wash and work on untangling it and getting the roots nice and clean so I can see what's going on with the root system. All right, into the water the tree goes. If it fits in the bucket, yeah, it does. So I'll just kind of swish it around. Like that. A very strong smell of juniper. It smells really, really good. So you can see not a lot of the root tips are active. Just sort of, there's some in this region here, some here, not much up here at all. So it was just starting to become active, this root system. Okay, that's washed. Let's get it back on the bench and begin the root pruning. All right, I've got the tree back on the bench. Now, the question is, do I want to expose more trunk or not? Right now, my soil level was here. Do I want to expose more of the trunk? Because I seem to have that opportunity. There's a lot of radial roots all around this section. I'm thinking there's a lot of tangled roots here. I'm just going to try and sort them out a bit. I think that's a good starting point. Knowing what's there is half the battle with roots. It allows you to see what choices and what opportunities there is. So there's that. You can see the trunk from this view. Yeah, it's very interesting. You know, I've got a root coming from way up here that maybe is too high. And then I've got a root here that looks like it died off. These ones, maybe they're dead, I'm not sure. I think I can get these roots to flare out quite nicely here. Again, you know, I haven't really done any root pruning yet. So I don't know, that undercut isn't really visible from this view. Maybe it's not even bad in this view. This would be the worst view, the backside. But definitely here, I could definitely expose more trunk. Okay, I think I've got to rewash the root system. I've kind of untangled a lot of roots. I've got a lot of soil in here. I think I can wash out again. Give it a second kind of wash, so I can see really clearly what's going on, because right now it's getting better, but it's still not real easy to see all the root system. So let me give it another wash. Okay, it is washed once again. So this is the front of my tree, the front I picked, and I'm seeing a lot of good stuff happening here. I'm seeing lots of cool roots. And I definitely think I could raise the trunk up and keep this nice root flare here. It's really nice, actually. Yeah, I could definitely raise the tree up. I think that would look great. Now, as far as the pot, I took about 50% of the foliage off the tree. Logically, again, I say I should be able to take 50% of the root system off the tree. I'm not going to take 50% off, but I'm going to take off some of these longer roots and try and get a little flatter on the bottom so it sits in a pot nicely. So that's sitting quite nicely. Now over here I have a few roots that are kind of curling upwards. I've got to get rid of those. All right, so here's one of those roots that's sticking up here. I'll take it off right here. Here's another one here. You can see it's sticking up. There's a couple here. Not sure what made them grow up, but I'll trim them off. There's another big one here that's growing upwards. Get rid of that one too. And another one here. And here. A lot of roots growing upwards. So that's kind of got that flow nice. There's still one in here going upwards. There, got that one off. There's still a bit of a bump here, but that's okay. I'll leave that for now. Can't do everything at once. I think that's pretty good. I think I can get that in a good sized pot. Again, you know, I'm being a little conservative here, which is sometimes good because this tree will have many more repottings. Okay, let's find a pot for the tree now. Let's start with the pot that Jay got me. I think it'll be too small, but maybe not. So that would be in that pot. Wow, does it ever look good in this pot? Okay, well that seems to fit in there quite nicely. Kind of exposing these roots a lot here. I think this is the pot for the tree. I'll show you what it looks like from the front view. Here's a look at the tree roughly placed in the pot from the front. I think it's a good size, a good color. I think it's a good pot for the tree. I would definitely angle the tree a little more like that. But the roots fit in here really, really nicely. I think this is the pot for the tree. Now I think the front of the pot, the lip is a little nicer on this side, so definitely put it in this way. Okay, I'll get my drainage screens in the pot. This is going to be the pot for my $12 juniper. I've got my drainage screen in the bottom of the pot, so I'll add a base layer of soil, not too much, just a light covering, and then I'll position the tree. Okay. So I'm trying to get these roots at the side spread out a bit more. The front of the tree will be about here. Get all the roots into the pot. These longer ones I'll just fold in there, and then As they get some root ramification, as the roots fill the pot, I will prune them off shorter. There'll be lots more root work coming on this tree. Aesthetic root work. Now, I've got to position the tree in the pot. I don't want it too far over. I want it a bit of room on this side of the pot. Maybe a little bit more of a twist here. Like that. Definitely looks stylish in the pot, the way it curves up. It's definitely got a bit of style to it. Okay. I'm going to add some soil to the pot now. And then we'll step back and have a look at it and do the final positioning. Make sure everything's looking okay. So here I go with some soil in the pot. So I'm going to work that into the roots before I get it filled up too much with soil. I just want to kind of work each layer in at a time. Okay, I need more soil now. Okay, I'll work that in. Now, I think the tree is at the point I can step back and have a look at it and then see if I need to make any adjustments to the position of the tree. I'm stepping back, having a look at the tree in the pot. Big change for this tree. Big change. I could rotate it clockwise a little bit. I think I'm not showing much of that back branch. I'm showing a little bit of it, but maybe just a little bit, rotating it a bit. The planting angle, I could probably tilt it down on this side, bring this branch down a bit. So let me try these adjustments. Rotating it and tilting it down a bit. Well, that's definitely rotated and tilted down. Is that too much? I think it is, because this part of the trunk is kind of horizontal. I think I've gone too far. You see that now? Well, that's similar. I think I'm too far. I think it looks too bent over. Let's see if I can get it a little more vertical. If I can't get it more vertical, I'll have to take it back out of the pot and try again. It's kind of springy in the pot now. That's better. I think I'm going to have to take it out of the pot and try again. I've kind of changed it too much and I can't get it settled back down. So out it comes. Try number 2 here. So I'll reuse this soil. Put it back in my scoop. Okay. I'm making a bit of a mess here, but okay, so I'm going to try again. I'm going to add a base layer of soil. just a shallow one. There. Then I'll position the tree. This time I think I know a little bit more of what I'm after, the position. So in it goes into the pot. So I don't want the top of the tree too parallel with the ground. So I want it to be a little more upright like that. I think that's better, and then rotate it a bit. So let me just... Maybe that's rotated a little too much. Maybe there. That's not bad. It flows upwards now, which I like. I didn't like this top of the tree being parallel to the surface of the pot. I like it sort of upright and almost going on like an angle, like the wind's blowing up the mountain. Now, is it too far over? I think I could move it over in the pot just a bit here. Position my roots. And I'll try again, filling it in with soil. I'm just trying to arrange the roots out there. Okay, I can add some soil now. I think this is going to be much, much better. I hope anyway. If it doesn't work out, I try again. I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to position your tree really nicely in the pot. To your liking anyway. Okay, I'm going to step back. I'm stepping back, having a look at the tree. I think my cascading or my windswept branches are coming too far forward. I've got to rotate the tree more. So I'm rotating it around. Let me see that. Okay, that's getting better. Now I'm wondering about this branch sticking out the front here. I think I've got to rotate it even more. I think it's coming too far forward. Let me rotate it. Let me try that. Okay, that definitely brings this branch off to the right-hand side, which is maybe good, and then the central part of the trunk comes up. These are windblown nicely. I could maybe tilt the tree a bit more so these are up in the air more. I think that's a bit better. I'm looking at the balance of the tree left and right in the pot. I think I could go to the right just a bit more. This is very, subtle work, but very important to get it to look just right if you can. Okay, let me try that now. How is that looking? I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I'm not sure about this root here. Maybe I've got to tuck it in a bit more. It's splayed out, but maybe too far. It just wants to sit there. All right, well, that'll have to do. I've got one root sticking up here I'll trim off. And now I'll begin filling it in with soil, the final planting. All right, in goes my soil again. So this tree will stay in the greenhouse. It'll, it won't see freezing temperatures. I have a heater that comes on that keeps the temperature in the greenhouse above freezing. It gets good light in here. The humidity is high, so it's ideal conditions for this tree to recover. If this were going outside on a bench, I'd have to be very careful. I'd have to bring it in the cold nights. Yeah, really mist it, take care of it, because this will be critical, the recovery of this tree, because it's undergone a lot in these last 2 days. Okay, I think that's looking good. I'm going to top dress the soil with sand now. All right, here I go with the sand. This will just help keep the soil hydrated. It won't dry out quite so quick, having that layer of sand on top. And the moss generally grows really nicely on a layer of sand, I found. So it's like top dressing your planting with sphagnum moss almost. It sort of does the same function. Okay, I think I'm ready to water the tree. All right, here I go with the water. Give it a general mist. And get a little more intense down here at the soil level. I don't think you can overwater the soil. It's very airy. Okay, I think that's a good watering. So I'll water this planting probably twice a day for the first week or so, keeping the soil really moist, misting or like watering the top of the tree to keep the foliage moist, and that'll really help it recover and grow. My last operation to the tree today will be to apply moss around the surface of the tree, around the trunk here. Just to kind of hold moisture in around those roots. Okay, I've got a bit to do around the back here, and I'll be done the mossing. Okay, I think I'm ready to give it another watering. All right, here I go with the water, just to wash all the mud out of the moss, kind of clean it up a bit. And I'll just pick out some little specks of perlite here.
I have finished the work on my juniper for today. Let's fly in now and have a look at it. I think the new pot that Jay got me looks really good with the tree, so thanks, Jay. I'll keep this tree well watered and misted over the next couple of weeks, hoping for a strong recovery. That is all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.